He's now the army chief, and right before the Pahalgam attack, he put out this inflammatory speech about the two-nation theory, justifying the fact that the ISI exists to bleed India with 1,000 cuts. This was indoctrinated by Zia-ul Haq, who in fact took on the dirty work, took on the employment by the Americans on a paid basis to arm the Afghans against Russia. And this is a trend which Pakistan has not been able to stop. Despite being sufferers of terrorism through their own hands, they somehow think that it's Allah's work. They somehow think that it's their religious duty to exterminate and eliminate all kafirs. What is our duty then? What are we supposed to do? Because there's only one country for Hindus.
Vineet, thank you very much. That's a very poignant question. And we have to hark back to our ancient times, to Krishna teaching Arjuna about the value of defending the Dharma, to Ram fighting Ravan for defending Dharma. So that is what we have to arise and, sort of reawaken in our souls, even like Swami Vivekananda said. So, and it is a very great misfortune for a country like Pakistan to continue on the path that they have been doing and to have people like Asim Munir as the army chief, who's a rabid radicalist and who's radicalizing not only the army but the population. And the the talk that he gave to the overseas Pakistanis was so rabid. It was so shocking for me to hear the general speaking that language to overseas Pakistanis. Now, how do you deal with such terror? What my preceding panelists have said is absolutely correct. You have to see what is the source of all the terror. And Pakistan being an army with a country and a radicalized country and a radicalized army, how do you eliminate that threat forever? So that is where ultimately this whole game has to reach. And in this time, I guess, is the right time. So we have to see how we can reach that point, how the Breaking India forces, which are working jointly, are also overlapping a lot with the Breaking US forces currently. So for India, US and the Western world and other countries of the world, including Israel and others, to work together on this issue to come to a just conclusion is very, very important. India by itself may not have the resources and the capacities or the strengths to take it to a rightful conclusion completely. It will need support from a lot of other countries and sources. So that is what we have to embark upon, because they have to understand also that this is not just breaking India forces, there's also breaking every country forces which are non-Islamic. So if that is a sort of threat, now what gives them oxygen, what gives them sustenance is funding from sources like China also. And how do you counter that? How do you challenge that? How do you expose that? How do you stop that? So those are going to be very important issues. So how do you deal with this threat by not, the Israeli solution is also not a complete sort of end to it, because Hamas in different forms keeps on sort of arising again and again, and new followers, new leaders keep on propping up. So what is the solution? I think the whole world has to sort of sit together jointly, realize the perils that the world faces because of political Islam and jihadi Islam, and what is a successful way to bring it to a conclusion where this threat no longer exists for the world. We need.
Professor Nalapad, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, also with us on the program. Professor